So we have one of the most trending laptop of 2023, the Acer Aspire 5 gaming laptop, which is basically a normal looking and normal spec laptop which provides its user with advantage of gaming and creative workload. It is a thin and light laptop like the ones you might carry to college or work, with a low profile and basic design with gaming and creative workload capabilities. This laptop is available for 59,000 as of making this video. It is also available offline at Creative Laptop Store in Ludhiana, Kochar market area at a really good deal. Details in the description. Let's take a quick look at the general specifications of this laptop. This laptop has Intel's Core i5 1240p processor with 12 cores and 16 threads, out of which 4 are performance cores and 8 are efficiency cores. Those unfamiliar with the P processor name, basically it's a name given to the performance and power consumption of the processor. Generally, gaming laptops have H or HX, which means very high power usage and hence high performance. Below that we have P, which are relatively less power hungry, and after that we have U, which are extremely low powered CPUs. If you want me to make a video explaining all the specs of the CPU, please comment down below. It has a maximum TDP of 28 watts, which is quite low for an i5, as generally gaming laptops have at least 55 watts of TDP, and has Intel's Iris Xe G7 as iGPU. It has RTX 2050 with 4GB of GDDR6 RAM and a maximum TDP of 35 watts, which again is on the lower side of 2050's TDP range, which means lower temps but lower performance. My unit has 16GB of DDR4 RAM clocked at 3200 MHz, and it comes with 8GB plus 8GB configuration. This is a really good thing as DDR4 RAM performs best when used in dual channel mode, that is, both slots are occupied. Basically 8GB plus 8GB is better than 116GB RAM in DDR4, and at last it has 512GB Gen 3 SSD. Now let's take a look at the build quality and design of this laptop. It comes in all silver color with aluminum lid, and the rest of the body is plastic. It has a very little top lid flex, and a little bit of a keyboard flex is also there, but not too much though. It has good and sturdy hinges and can be opened with one hand, but the laptop lifts up a little. It has thin side bezels but thick top and bottom bezels. It has a slim form factor with dimensions of 14.29 inches by 9.36 inches by 0.7 inches and a weight of 1.8 kgs. It is slimmer and lighter than most gaming laptops and handles just like any regular productivity i3 laptop. It has an air exhaust vent on the back side which stretches up to the top of the keyboard, and it has a big air intake vent on the downside. It has two fan cooling system like all gaming laptops, which are located right next to each other. The laptop lifts up a little bit when you open the lid, which further helps in air ventilation. It has a full-sized white backlit keyboard which is not very bright, and there are no brightness levels. It is good in complete darkness or in fully lit rooms, but I found it hard to read the keyboard in a room with dim lights. It may be specific to my unit, but keep that in mind. It does not have a separate power button, and it lies on the top right of the keyboard. The numpad is quite small for my liking, and the rest of the keyboard felt nice to use without any issue. It has a good sized, fully clickable trackpad with multi-gesture support, and it felt smooth to use and did not come in contact with the palm even when typing in my experience. It has a very responsive fingerprint scanner on the top right of the laptop of the trackpad, which can be used to unlock the windows. It has a 720p camera on the top with temporal noise reduction, and it has a 50 watt-hour battery which gives up to 3 hours of battery backup. Battery life is average as compared to other productivity laptops, as it has a GPU in it and does not have a mux switch to turn it off. So it will keep drawing some power even when idle, and thus the battery backup is on the lower end. Now let's take a look at the screen of this laptop. It has a 15.6-inch Full HD IPS panel with native resolution of 1920 by 1080p and an anti-glare display. It has only 60Hz refresh rate, so gamers might need an external screen with higher refresh rate. It has 51% sRGB color gamut and has a good contrast ratio of 1400 by 1. It does not seem to have G-Sync support though. It has a screen response time of 28 milliseconds and a brightness of 265 nits. It has good viewing angles, and all in all, it has a below average screen for a gaming laptop and not too good for creative tasks which require color accuracy. Now let's talk about the special features it has to offer, which are quite less to be honest. It has Wi-Fi 6E, which is great for laptop in this budget. It has Bluetooth 5.2 and it has Thunderbolt 4 port, which again is a rare thing in a laptop in this price point. However, it does not have any mux switch. Now let's take a look at the port selection of this laptop. It has 3 USB Type A ports and 1 USB Type C port. Starting from the left, it has 1 power port, 1 RJ45 Ethernet port, 1 HDMI 2.0 port, which is connected to the iGPU and gives output up to 4K 60Hz. Next, it has two USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports and one USB Type-C Thunderbolt 4 port, which can be used for data transfer. Display output of up to 4K 60Hz is connected to the iGPU and can be used to charge the laptop with a 65 Wh charger. On the right side, it has one audio mic combo jack and one USB Type-A 3.2 Gen 1 port. I would say that it has a good port selection given its price, as it gives 3 USB Type-A ports and one USB Thunderbolt 4 port, which is more than expected from this laptop. Now let's see the upgrade options available in this laptop. It has two M.2 slots, one for Gen 4 SSD and one for Gen 3 SSD. Two slots for 16GB RAM stick of 3200 MHz each, giving it a total of 32GB of RAM, and one upgradable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth card. Now let's quickly take a look at the performance benchmarks of this laptop. Cinebench R23 scored 8510 in multi-core and 1595 in single-core performance. Geekbench scored 7351 in multi-core and 1591 in single-core performance. PC Mark 10 scored 5725 and 3D Mark TimeSpy gave 4305 in CPU score, 3096 in GPU score and 3192 overall score. The scores are average for a laptop with i5 12th Gen in gaming aspect, but good for all other tasks. Now let's see the suitability of this laptop. This laptop is good for light gaming, productivity tasks, coding, editing up to 1080p, but not good for streaming, 4K editing, 3D modeling or machine learning and AI work. Let's see how this laptop performs in modern games. I collected data from some games that were tested at 1080p resolution, low to medium preset for selected games, recommended settings, DLSS is balanced wherever there was an option, and ray tracing was disabled. Here is how they performed. As you can clearly see, it performed well for a very low powered i5 and RTX 2050. It also held its own in games like Cyberpunk. I would say that this laptop is great for people who want to play games casually and do not mind tuning down the graphics a bit to get better results. Now let's take a look at the competition of this laptop. Tough Gaming A15 with Ryzen 4 4600H and GTX 1650 with 8GB of DDR4 RAM. HP Victus with i5 12450H processor with GTX 1650 and 8GB of DDR4 RAM. Lenovo IdeaPad Gaming with i5 11th Gen GTX 1650 and 8GB of DDR4 RAM. There are not many options available in this laptop, as all the laptops in this price point have 11th Gen Intel CPU and GTX 1650, while laptops with 12th Gen i5 and RTX series GPU cost around 70k and above. And this is why this laptop is a unique pick, as there are no laptops with such performance with RTX GPU and 12th Gen CPU. This is a perfect fit for students and professionals who want a professional looking, low power consuming laptop with great thermals and a little bit of gaming and creativity on the side. If you liked the review, please like the video, dislike if you didn't, tell me about it in the comment section, and consider subscribing for more videos like this.